Patriots fans woke up to one of those moments that makes the entire league stop and ask what just happened. While other teams were still trying to figure out their next move in free agency, New England quietly walked into the market and walked out with several important pieces that could reshape this roster in a big way. It almost felt like a perfectly executed heist. No massive drama, no long negotiations dragging through the media, just a series of calculated moves that suddenly have people around the NFL looking back at the Patriots and realizing that this team might be building something serious again. One of the first dominoes to fall came when safety Jalen Hawkins decided to move on and sign with Baltimore. There had been speculation for weeks that the Patriots were trying to work out a new contract to keep him in New England, but in the end the deal never materialized. Hawkins took a 2-year contract worth $10 million with the Ravens, and for a moment, it looked like the Patriots had just lost a key contributor in their secondary. But what happened next made the entire situation even more interesting. New England responded almost immediately by bringing in a veteran presence who brings both experience and production. Kevin Byard arrives in Foxborough on a 1-year contract worth $9 million, and that move alone instantly changed the conversation around the Patriots' defense. At 32 years old, Byard is not the youngest player in the league, but his recent production shows that he still has plenty left in the tank. In fact, his most recent season proved exactly that, as he led the entire league with 7 interceptions. That kind of playmaking ability is something every defense is searching for. There is also another layer to this signing that makes it even more intriguing. Byard is reuniting with head coach Mike Vrabel, a connection that goes back several seasons to their time together in Tennessee. From 2018 through 2023, the two worked closely with the Titans, building a defense that was known for its physical style and opportunistic playmaking. That familiarity matters in the National Football League because it means the learning curve is much shorter. Byard already understands the type of system Vrabel wants to run and the expectations that come with it. When you start looking at the bigger picture, the Patriots' secondary suddenly looks extremely dangerous. Christian Gonzalez continues to emerge as one of the most exciting young cornerbacks in the league. Marcus Jones, known for his explosive return ability, also provides versatility in the slot. Carlton Davis showed last season that he can be a reliable presence on the outside, especially during crucial moments late in the year. Then you add Kevin Byard into the mix, a veteran who has built a reputation as one of the smartest safeties in football, and the entire group starts to look like a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. It does not stop there either. The Patriots also have young talent continuing to develop behind the scenes, including rookies who bring athleticism and fresh energy to the defensive backfield. When a defense combines veteran leadership with emerging young players, it often creates the perfect balance. That combination can lead to a unit that not only makes big plays, but also avoids the kind of mistakes that give games away. This is why many people believe the Patriots secondary could end up being one of the best groups in the entire league this season. The talent is clearly there, but the chemistry might be the real key. With Vrabel leading the defense and players who already understand his philosophy, there is a strong chance that this unit becomes the identity of the team. We have seen it happen before in New England, where a dominant defense carries the team through difficult moments and keeps games within reach. And when you look around the division, it makes things even more interesting. Teams like Miami and New York are trying to reshape their offenses and figure out their quarterback situations. That means they will eventually have to go through a Patriots defense that now looks deeper, smarter, and more opportunistic than it did before. If the secondary lives up to its potential, opposing quarterbacks could be in for a very long season whenever they line up against New England. But the Patriots did not stop with just one move. While the defense was getting attention, the front office also made a decision that could have a massive impact on the offense, especially in the trenches. Elijah Vera Tucker was brought in to strengthen the interior of the offensive line, and that move could quietly become one of the most important additions of the entire offseason. At 26 years old, Vera Tucker brings both youth and experience to the offensive front. He has already played multiple seasons in the league and has proven he can handle the physical demands of interior line play. His presence could help stabilize the left side of the line, allowing other players to shift into positions where they feel more comfortable. One possible adjustment involves moving Jared Wilson toward the center position, which is where he built much of his reputation during his collegiate career. That kind of flexibility is extremely valuable for an offensive line. When players can move around and fill the roles that suit them best, the entire unit becomes stronger. Protecting the quarterback becomes easier, and the running game starts to find more consistency. Those two elements alone can completely transform an offense that struggled to find rhythm in previous seasons. There is one detail that cannot be ignored when discussing Vera Tucker, and that is the injury that kept him out last season. A torn tricep forced him to miss the entire year before the season even started. Injuries are always a concern in football, but the Patriots clearly believe he has recovered and is ready to return to the level of play that made him one of the most respected interior linemen available on the market. If he returns to that form, this offensive line could take a significant step forward. Combine Vera Tucker with players like Michael Onwenu and Morgan Moses, and suddenly the Patriots have a group that looks far more stable than it did not long ago. Offensive lines rarely get the same spotlight as skill position players, but anyone who understands football knows that everything starts up front. When the line is strong, the running game becomes more effective, quarterbacks have more time to make decisions, and the offense can control the pace of the game. That is why many analysts believe the Vera Tucker signing could end up being one of the most impactful moves of the entire offseason for New England. It might not be the flashiest headline, but it could be the kind of move that quietly changes the direction of the team. What makes this entire situation even more interesting is how the Patriots are clearly prioritizing the foundation of the team rather than just chasing flashy headlines. For years, the most successful teams in the National Football League have followed the same blueprint. Dominate the trenches, control the tempo of the game, and allow the skilled players to thrive behind a solid structure. That is exactly what New England seems to be focusing on right now. By strengthening both the defensive secondary and the offensive line, the organization is quietly building the kind of roster that can compete consistently week after week. When you look at the offensive line as a complete unit, the potential improvement becomes even clearer. If players like Will Campbell manage to perform at the level many expect from them, the Patriots could suddenly have a front that is much more reliable than it was in previous seasons. Campbell showed flashes of high-level performance during stretches of the regular season, and if he manages to elevate that consistency, the entire offensive structure becomes more dangerous. Quarterbacks become more confident, running backs find larger lanes, and the offense can finally establish a rhythm that was often missing before. The presence of Elijah Vera Tucker could also provide something that statistics do not always show on paper: leadership and communication within the offensive line. Veteran linemen often act as the coordinators of the trenches, identifying defensive alignments, adjusting protections, and helping younger players understand the speed of the professional game. That kind of influence becomes especially important for a team that is still developing its offensive identity. Depth is another element the Patriots are clearly paying attention to. Having players who can rotate in and out without causing a significant drop in performance is something every successful team values. The addition of reliable backup options means the coaching staff can manage fatigue, respond to injuries, and keep the line functioning throughout the long and physically demanding season. Football is not just about the starting lineup. It is about having a complete roster capable of surviving the unpredictable nature of the sport. While the offensive and defensive fronts are receiving plenty of attention, the Patriots also made another addition that might not generate massive headlines, but still plays an important role in the overall defensive structure. Linebacker KJ Britt arrives as a rotational piece, bringing physicality and versatility to the middle of the defense. He may not immediately step in as a full-time starter, but players like Britt often become essential components of a team's depth chart. Linebackers who can step in during specific situations, particularly against the run, give defensive coordinators more flexibility. Britt has shown in the past that he can contribute in those types of scenarios. His ability to read the play, attack the line of scrimmage, and support the defensive front allows the Patriots to maintain intensity even when rotating personnel. In a league where offenses constantly look for mismatches, having dependable depth at linebacker can make a noticeable difference over the course of a season. Of course, the Patriots are not ignoring the offensive skill positions either. There has been growing discussion around the possibility of adding another wide receiver to support the passing game, particularly to help young quarterback Drake may continue his development. The organization appears to be actively exploring options, making calls and evaluating potential targets across the league. One of the most interesting aspects of these conversations is the way the Patriots are approaching the market. Instead of overpaying simply to make a splash, they appear to be carefully evaluating the value of each opportunity. That approach shows discipline, something that has historically defined successful teams in New England. Sometimes the smartest move is not making the biggest offer, but rather waiting for the right situation where the price and the talent align perfectly. There is also an underlying message in the way the front office is evaluating its current roster. While players like Romeo do bring talent and potential to the receiving group, the Patriots seem to understand that the offense may still benefit from another high-impact target. Adding a true number one wide receiver could dramatically change how opposing defenses approach the game. It forces coverage adjustments, opens space for other receivers, and gives the quarterback a reliable option when the pressure is at its highest. In the modern National Football League, having a dynamic receiving core can completely transform an offense. When defenses are forced to respect the passing game, it naturally creates more opportunities for the running attack as well. That balance is what every offensive coordinator is chasing, and it is clear the Patriots are still exploring ways to achieve it. Not every piece of news during this period has been about arrivals, though. One departure that caught the attention of many fans involved defensive lineman Deshaun Bauer, who delivered one of the most productive statistical seasons of his career while wearing a Patriots uniform. After proving his value on the field, Bauer decided to sign a one-year contract worth $12 million with Washington. Losing a player who contributed in such a meaningful way is never easy, especially when he seemed to fit well within the defensive system. Bauer had become one of those underrated players who quietly handled his responsibilities without always receiving the spotlight. His effort against both the run and the pass added stability to the defensive front, and many expected the Patriots to make a strong effort to keep him in New England. Situations like this often come down to timing, financial considerations, and the player's personal goals. Sometimes athletes are looking for longer contracts, different roles, or simply a fresh opportunity in another environment. While fans may feel disappointed seeing a familiar name leave, roster turnover is a natural part of building a competitive team in the National Football League. The Patriots coaching staff now faces the challenge of filling that gap while continuing to develop the players who remain in the system. Fortunately, the team has shown a clear willingness to adjust and evolve throughout this offseason. The front office has demonstrated that it is not afraid to make bold decisions, whether that means bringing in experienced veterans or giving younger players the chance to step into larger roles. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors swirling around the facilities in Foxborough suggest that Garrett Bradberry may be on the verge of a surprising shift in direction, and the whispers are only getting louder. League insiders have begun hinting that the veteran center, once seen as a quiet but steady presence on the offensive line, has turned a corner in a way few expected. The alleged change is tied to a fresh internal decision by the New England Patriots, one that could reshape how the offensive front is built moving forward. According to people familiar with the situation, the Patriots coaching staff has been closely evaluating Bradberry's role within the system, and the outcome may be more significant than it first appeared. Some believe the organization has signaled a new level of confidence in the lineman, possibly opening the door for a bigger leadership role in the locker room and at the line of scrimmage. Others interpret the move as a strategic pivot, a sign that New England is rethinking how it wants to protect its quarterback and establish rhythm up front. Bradberry, known around the league for his mobility and intelligence in protection schemes, has reportedly responded to the situation with renewed intensity. Observers claim his preparation has noticeably changed, with extra film sessions and a visible urgency during team activities. One league scout described it as a player realizing the moment is bigger than people think. Of course, none of this has been confirmed publicly. The Patriots organization remains characteristically silent, leaving room for speculation to fill the gaps. But in NFL circles, silence often fuels the intrigue rather than quieting it. If the rumors prove accurate, Bradberry's newfound momentum could become one of the more unexpected storylines surrounding New England. What began as a subtle roster decision might ultimately signal something larger, a shift in identity along the offensive line, and perhaps a quiet resurgence for a player many believe had already settled into a predictable role. For now, all eyes remain on Bradberry, waiting to see whether the whispers become reality. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.